Hello out to all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear, listening into another Gamer Stuffs discussion. In this, I'm going to be talking about people forcing preferences once again. It seems like every time I think that I don't have to come back to this particular subject, in some way I'm coming back to it anyway, no matter what I'm talking about when it comes down to different entitlements and things when it comes to gamers. But again, there are people who just don't get when people have a preference that is different from their own preference, and then they think that that preference that they have is the correct preference to have, so everyone should have that preference, and everyone should like what they like, the way that they like it, the way that they want it. Why? Why? Like, why? Riddle me this. If someone told you that everything that you liked, everything that you did, everything that you thought, everything that was about you was wrong, would you want to be around that person? Would you want to converse with that person? Would you want to share space with that person? Would you want that person around you? The likely answer is no. So why is it that we do this in different things as far as geek culture? You got people telling certain people that they should like Batman over liking Black Panther. You got people telling people that they should like mystery novels over freaking fantasy novels. You got people telling other people that they should like rap music over rock music. I'm like, why? People telling you should like Sonic over Mario. You have your preferences for a reason. You know what resonates with you. You know what you like. You know what is most important to you. You know everything you need to know about yourself when it comes down to what you prefer as far as the things that you have experienced in your life. So, how do we get to this conversation where, and I guess this is going back to Nintendo. I guess me being a Nintendo fan is one of those things. It's like, well, Nintendo should offer better hardware. Nintendo should do this. They should do that. Which is why I released that What If yesterday, even though it's going to probably be next weekend on my YouTube channel. There's a reason that certain things are done. It's just the way things are. You don't always have to agree with everything, but that's your choice to not agree. But what would be better to one person isn't necessarily better to another person. Well, we want them to be better. We want them to do better. For who? For you? Or for all of the people that bought into what they asked for? Because that's the ultimate question here. Who do they need to do better for? And also another question to ask, how should they be doing better? Should they do better with hardware? Potentially, yes. But I think that comes with every iteration, well, every new console that they come out with. That's something that automatically happens, which they do. They do improve upon hardware every time they bring out a new platform. That's a given fact. Does it have to improve to be equal to the other platforms? Not necessarily. Because if you think about it, especially when it comes down to consoles, if we set this standard for consoles, it also has to be set for PC. And the moment you do that for PC, you are literally negating about 90% of the PC gaming community. Not everybody has those high-end computers, and not everybody is willing to get a high-end computer. Most people just want something that runs things decently, that they can spend some time playing with. Not everybody's worried about being on the bleeding edge of everything when it comes to technology. And that's the problem with a lot of the preferences that I see coming up. I'm fine with you having your preference. I'm fine with you having your like for what you want. I'm not fine with you telling me or someone else that I should like something the way you like it because the way you like it is the right way to like it. That doesn't make sense. And, I was kind of like that when it came down to Smash Brothers. I always played Smash as a party game. I've never played it in a competitive format. I mean, I've never intentionally played it to be competitive with other people. I've always played it to have fun. Now, a part of me is competitive while I play, but I don't look at it as, oh, I got to get my rank up and be above everybody else. No, I don't play Smash that way. I play it to have fun with it. And yeah, and I guess I kind of had an elitist attitude about it for a long time. I was like, y'all playing this for rank? But y'all should just be playing it just to enjoy it. But some people enjoy the game through playing it for rank, which is cool. I should have seen that a lot sooner. I should have seen that a lot sooner than the Wii U, at least. But over time, my views on that changed. And I was thinking, like, yeah, maybe I was a little bit too harsh-minded on this thought process. And I wouldn't want somebody telling me how I should enjoy something. Just like games with an easy mode. If you want to play a game on an easy mode, have at it. There are some games that I just don't play very well in certain formats. So I'll play them on easy until I get better at them. And then once I'm better at them, I will play them on higher difficulties. There's nothing wrong with that. I think people need to understand that the preferences are just that, preferences. And that even goes down into game development. And this is why I did the discussion asking if every game needs to have an easy mode. Or if we're just worried about accessibility. Because a lot of people will conflate the two and they're separate things. There are people who are disabled who would love to play a video game on its hardest difficulty with it being accessible to them to play. There are ways to make games accessible for people with certain disabilities. That's the point of that discussion. But that doesn't necessarily translate to difficulty. You could have the difficulty cranked up and give someone the tools to meet that difficulty, and they'll still be able to do it. I don't know who it was, but I remember hearing about a guy streaming on Twitch, a disabled guy streaming on Twitch playing Dark Souls, and he completed it. Not on easy. And I believe he had a difficult time with the controls himself. But I think he had also had a setup that allowed him to mitigate the control difficulty he had. But getting back to the main point of this, you should not be trying to force your preference on people. Just like people who said there's only one right way to play Fire Emblem. There's only one right way to play Fire Emblem for you, maybe. Just like there's only one right way to play beat-em-ups for me. But that doesn't fit for everyone else. The caveat for me being that Streets of Rage 4 is a beast on Mania. So I have to build myself back up to Mania with Streets of Rage 4. The only thing that I think that I may have played that was harder, or as far as difficulty in a beat 'em up, was the mod that I was making for Streets of Rage Remake that I can't complete because it got the hard drive that it was on died, so I lost all that information. But still, that's an aside. We shouldn't treat video games like everyone has to have the same thing or even like the same thing for people to be able to enjoy video games. Have your bigger, more mainstream stuff and enjoy it, but let people also enjoy things the way they like to play them. Again, somebody wants to use aim assist in a FPS, I am not judging them. Maybe that's the only way they're good at getting those kills. Or maybe it just makes the experience more fun for them. Let them do it. I would prefer myself to have a Wii Remote Nunchuck because that's far more accurate as far as I'm concerned and a lot quicker than aim assist. So is mouse and keyboard, but hey, let people have their options. That's all I'm saying. Let people have their options. Let them enjoy games the way they can with the features that are available. Why do we have to try to pigeonhole a bunch of people into agreeing with how we see something? That's the thing I don't get. Why do we have to pigeonhole people into liking what we like? Does that make you feel better to do that? Because seriously, that the only way I can describe that is that is self-serving and highly selfish. Because you don't like something the way I like it, that means that the way you like it is garbage and trash, and what you like is garbage and trash. That's unintelligent. That is highly unintelligent to think of things that way. And again, this is coming from somebody who's had to change their way of thought for a lot of things. Because I kind of held on to those very similar types of thoughts when it came down to these specific games. I mean, I was always the one that said, yo, everything exists for a reason, so why not enjoy what's there? Enjoy it for what it is, not for what it isn't. For everybody who's saying that the Switch needs to be better graphically and all that, there are ways to do that. There are ways to do that, surely. But that doesn't always translate well for every game. Every game has its own challenges to being made. But Nintendo should not be utilizing PCs to make promotional materials for their games when the PC isn't representative of the game. They make their games on PC. So it doesn't really make a difference if their promotional work is being done with the PC. Even if the promotional work looks slightly better than the game. Though I don't remember with certain games that being the case. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. At least not when it comes down to Nintendo anyway. At this point, most people know what they're getting with the Switch. If a game is on that platform and it's on other platforms, it's likely to run poorer on the Switch than it is on the other platforms. Because it doesn't have the hardware that the other platforms have. It's not pulling the juice the other platforms are pulling. And even if it was, it probably would be doing actually a lot more comparable to the other platforms, especially since most of the games are running off of what is between 11 and 15 watts of power. Whereas the Xbox platforms and PlayStation platforms at the moment are running off energy in the hundreds of watts. Something to keep in your mind when you consider comparison. I mean, that was a horrible misspoken word. When you're doing comparisons. For a lot of people who claim to be about technology and understand technology, many forget that the amount of wattage and power that is used by a particular piece of hardware also helps or hurts its performance. And since the Nintendo Switch is a tablet doing all of this, it has to stay cool and be able to manage the battery. If it cannot do those things and your battery dies within 20 minutes of you booting up a game, it completely defeats the purpose of the Switch. So yes, many people will put their money into a platform that is portable, that they can play games on, they can take it with them anywhere, versus only being able to have it in a stationary standpoint at one place. Now, Microsoft is doing a lot to mitigate this themselves with xCloud and Game Pass, but that doesn't beat having the game right there in the hardware you're carrying around with you. And again, one requires the usage of internet in order to be able to play the games, the other does not. If you're in a place where there is no internet, say a rural area, you're not really going to have much choice. And again, that's something to consider and keep in mind. Streaming is not available to everyone at a high speed. So you have to take into consideration what that would mean for the people playing the games. And again, there are some people that just don't want to pay the higher prices for the other platforms. To be honest, even though you can get an Xbox Series S for the same price as a standard Switch, at the point that you get that, I mean, you're still going to have to buy additional storage right off the bat. And the storage for that platform is far more expensive than storage expansion for the Switch, no matter which version of it you get. Just let's be honest with that. So it's one of those things that people just have to allow people to have their preferences. Everyone has a reason for what they deem to be more important. Again, for me, I'm a gameplay guy first. Gameplay, story, then graphics. Actually, I'll take that back. Gameplay, story, music, then graphics. Graphics are nice, but they are not the end-all be-all for me. I've said it multiple times. I could go back and play PS1 titles with no difficulty playing them. And they can be some of the ugliest PS1 titles, and I will still play and enjoy them. Video games are meant to be enjoyed. Yes, we can critique them. Yes, we can judge them. We can talk about them. But their main purpose is to entertain. Let people select the entertainment that they want. Well, that caught me off guard. A fire truck just went by with the sirens. Sorry about that. Can't control what happens around me, though. Again, games are meant to be enjoyed, and they're entertainment. People play video games for the entertainment value. Let them determine what they find entertaining. Let them enjoy what they find entertaining, and let them like it. You don't have to like the same things. And hey, you can start to dislike something you used to love. It happens. Tastes change. People change. Their mindsets change. I literally talked about that earlier on. It doesn't matter who you are. You're going to change at some point. You're not going to stay static as one thing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a person. Now, certain things influence those choices, and you can choose whether or not you want to go with those influences. There are gamers out there who will only game on Xbox. There are gamers out there who will only game on PlayStation. There are gamers out there who will only game on mobile. There are gamers out there who will only game on PC. And there are gamers out there who will only game on Nintendo. That's just how things are. And then there are people that will specifically avoid one or more of those individual platforms. Again, that's their choice. Don't have to agree with it, but let them have their choices. It's as simple as that. Let people enjoy their choices. I guess like that's the ultimate thing here. And I'm speaking straight from a perspective on video games. I mean, this does bleed into other things as well. But for the most part, people should just be able to enjoy what they like and be happy with that. Instead of having people telling them what they should like or why they should be upset about something. Why? Why do you have to rain on everyone's parade? Now, well, it's one thing if you're pointing out like an actual technical issue with something and it's something that should be fixed so that people can actually enjoy what they want to enjoy. But it's a whole other thing to say, well, this game doesn't look as good as that game and they're of similar genre, And this game is in development longer than that game, then we know that game has been in development. What fucking difference does it make? If the shit turns out enjoyable for the people that want it, let them enjoy the fuck out of it and don't worry about it. I feel like I'm coming off authoritarian in some way. Well, I'm not trying to be. But I guess in that respect, you kind of have to come to the forefront with the same energy as what you're trying to talk against. So it's a paradox. But as a gamer, we have so much stuff to be excited for currently that we would not have this much stuff to be excited for if this were the third, the fourth, the fifth, or even the sixth generation. We would not have as much stuff together at the same time to be excited for. Now, we could have had even more had certain other things not been done as soon as they were. Like a lot of our mid-tier studios would still exist, and we could still be getting games from them to this day had we not made the jump to HD as soon as we did. But I'm happy that there's an abundance of stuff out there for a wide variety of people to play. So, again, let people enjoy what they enjoy. And I know at some point somebody's going to find this, and at some later point in my life, I'm going to crap on something. And someone's going to point out to me that I said this exact thing. And I know I'm going to come back snarky at them and say, did I tell you not to enjoy it, or did I just highlight why I don't? Oh man. Okay. I think I'm done. Thank you guys very much for listening. Whatever comments you would like to make, go ahead and make them. I'm interested in hearing other people's thoughts on the matter and their positions. Oh man, I'm done. Again, thank you guys very much for listening in. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games and peace out, everybody.